Welcome back, everybody, to Linda's Investing. I am Lindsay. I'm a real estate investor, and today I bring you a video from my commute because I got nothing else better to do. Normally, I actually drive a lot, not every day, but most days I drive a lot. I commute, I want to say like 200 miles sometimes, and LA traffic. So this may not be, this may surprise you. I don't really talk about this, but one of the things that I do, well, the work that I do, one of the things I give up is commute for better pay. And I, majority of people were like, oh, would say, why are you commuting 200 miles a day? That's crazy. That's bananas. And I'm like, yeah, it's kind of crazy, but this is some of the things that I interchange. For the setting that I work on, I'm pretty well compensated. So I think that into consideration, and this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about today is like delayed gratification. I think since I was little, I was a pro at delayed gratification. I knew the hardest things that we could do. They're gonna take time. They're gonna take discipline, and nothing comes easy to me. Nothing's ever come easy in my life. So for me, this is not such a big sacrifice. Um, it's something that I want to stop, like the commute I'm talking about. I wanted to stop hopefully soon, but it's not something that deters me from taking a job because if I'm feeling unfairly compensated for the job, then I'm going to take on the task. So this is, I guess, just more introspection into my life, more of the things that I do. But I came in on this video because I've been watching one of the real estate investors that I watch on YouTube, Steve Nguyen. He's a pharmacist and he does a lot of videos from his commute. And not only is he being productive while he's driving, which is pretty monotone. Sometimes you just go on copilot mode and you're like listening to podcasts or listening to books, but most of the times you just tune out. But no, he's being extra productive, which means that he's not only commuting, but he's putting out content for a stream of consciousness that he gets while driving. And I think I should give it a try. Maybe I'll hate it, but maybe I'll just lean into it. I've never been a person that can talk a lot for long periods of time. I feel like I get tired of my own voice. But if this helps anybody, then uh, that's worth sharing. So I have 11 rentals. I live in Los Angeles. I invest in Indiana, and um, I've been investing for the last 3 years, and it's been a learning curve the whole time. And I think I've been leveling up on strategy every single year. So initially, I was buying turnkey, rental ready, then a little bought a little more distress, and then I went fully into birth, buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat. And that's what I've been doing for the last year. And actually, it's worn me out. This verse kind of burned me out last year from doing too many burns at a time. But right now, it's almost at the end line. I'm only working on a duplex staircase, which should be done next week. Which hopefully after that, I don't have to pay any more contractors. Which thankfully it won't be like bleeding $10,000 every single month. But um, my background is in nursing. I used to be a nurse, hospital setting. I used to work 12-hour shifts, 60-hour weeks, and because I live in Los Angeles, I wanted to be a homeowner. I definitely worked a lot of overtime early in my nursing career. And then I got a little bit smarter, right? I started doing traveling assignments, and I started making a little bit more money, but putting that more money away. So when I started investing, it was mostly in the fire community, maximize your time accounts, open brokerage accounts, do the Roth IRA thing. Um, but it wasn't until COVID that I decided to invest in real estate, right? And for people that know my story, uh, it was through COVID that made me wake up and realize I don't want to do nursing forever. So Now that it's 2026 and I've been pretty much going 100% on real estate last year. This year I wanted to be more about optimization, management of my assets. I really want to like take the time to see how my houses are performing as opposed to doing bursts and just trying to hoard a lot of cash flow so I can pay off the contractors more so. So currently, I have 11 rentals in Indiana. Nine of them, no, eight of them are rented. The number nine is currently getting a Section 8 voucher application on the works. So hopefully that'll be rented soon. For anybody that's never rented to Section 8, there's so many hoops they have to go through initially. For example, talking to the housing authority about their voucher. Sometimes their voucher comes from different zip codes, so that affects the type of reimbursement they're getting. Every zip code has a different reimbursement type. So I'm in that process of applying to the housing authority. The person has a voucher interested in my rental, of course. I at the end, even though the whole application process timeline takes longer, I do like our Section 8 renters because government pays every month, and if they don't pay, they miss a payment. Like when the government was shut down, they will keep up. They will make sure that they pay you the following month when the government reopens. Obviously, all of these grant programs are subject to uh, government funding. So not only I don't rely only on Section 8. So I have plenty of um, regular tenants that are not Section 8. But uh, hopefully I land this Section 8 tenants. So then that will leave me to two units. So the two remaining units that I have that are vacant currently, it's winter in the middle of the country. So snow and all of these things. One of the rentals is a duplex, which is being my headache. I think this is probably one of the worst investments I had in Gary. But hindsight is 2020, so I can't really take back. One of the things that I've been suffering with in this particular city is this particular street is that I am the only duplex that doesn't have a stairs encasing covering siding on the second floor. So I've been having a lot of trouble renting out the second floor, which is counterintuitive. Normally, people want to move to the second floor because they don't want to hear who's walking on top. At least that's how I did it when I was like renting out apartments back in the day. But this second floor, I haven't been able to rent it, even though it's a three-bedroom, one bath, um, top side of a duplex, because people are scared of going up the stairs when the stairs have no covering. And then because I invest in the middle, in the Midwest, there's rain, there's snow, and then people are scared of like falling down, which didn't occur to me when I was purchasing this rental. So that was my own stupidity, I guess. But now I'm getting stairs siding and framing, new stairs, which like are nicer, up to code, but they have framing and then they will have a roof over, so it will be safer, and hopefully that will get me the rental ready, and I can advertise it, and I could get a tenant hopefully. The other unit that is currently not rented is a unit I just finished rehabbing. So I think this was done sometime before Christmas, and it hasn't been marketed for long, maybe like 2 3 weeks. So I'm not as worried about this rental because it's a new rental. Like I said, we are not, like I said, but we are putting nicer remodels in our rentals. We are doing open space concept. We're doing courts as countertops, and this unit even has a stove, which is not required for me as a tenant, as a landlord, to provide appliances. So, but I'm doing everything I can to putting it to implement in this low market of rentals, the softening of rentals, and specifically because also we're in winter. So I want those units rented, but also for 2026, I want to concentrate on building up reserves. And why do I want to do that? Because I don't have reserves right now, because I've been burning and all the money has been deployed just back into the market. Before you freak out, I do have a HELOC that I could draw from reserves in case of emergency, blah, blah, blah. I also have access to a 401k. uh, I still contribute to retirement accounts, not as much as before, but that's still available. So that was like HELOC would be a plan B, and retirement accounts would be like a plan C, and then even after that would be something like credit cards or anything like that, if anything happened. But I do acknowledge that's not a comfortable place to for me to be in. So I'm building up reserves. I'm not a zero. I'm like a $5,000, but it's still not where I want to be. I want to be at $50,000. I have 11 rentals. I'm not trying to concentrate on buying more. So this year, hopefully, I will buy at all. I'm like putting limits to myself, which is not something that I often do. So right now, we're putting limits on Lindsay. So it's been very fun buying or trying to get that next deal and then that hit of dopamine that you get from doing that. Um, but no more optimization and management. And also, I learned this from other people that are investing. Like I have a WhatsApp group of the people that invest in Gary, and I have the knowledge of other investors as well. A lot of investors um, scale grew too much in Gary, and then there's a lot of investors that came into the area. There's an oversupply of rentals, and then so the market has slowed down. Not only the rentals have softened, but they are just too many options for the renter in Gary. So I don't want to increase that supply, and when we don't have like that much of a demand. So not saying this is a bad market to invest in, but I also recognize like I'm more in tune with the market, so I recognize where the trends are doing right now. So this year, I'm taking a different, turning the page on a little bit more of social media. So I wanted to come and do more videos. I wanted to put more content out there, and I wanted to encourage more people to come and invest in real estate too. I have a partner. Her name is Violeta. We have a podcast. We come on Thursdays. The podcast is called Real Estate Jefas, and we try to encourage women to come and invest in real estate if they're already thinking about it, or if you just want to diversify your portfolio. We believe, Violeta and I, that real estate is a long-term strategy, just like if you were to invest in the S&P 500 through retirement accounts or through brokerage accounts. It's just a different way of investing, and I personally believe it's a way to invest faster and make wealth more like attainable than the S&P 500. Not to trash the fire community whatsoever. I just think that because the fire community concentrates so much on extreme frugality and saving through only your W 2, that I think it's self limiting in a way. Like there's only so much income in each career that you can attain to. So there's always like a cap, right? And a lot of people know their cap in their own respective careers. And I know, for example, in my area, my cap is pretty much reached. But if I was to change the way that I do business, which is what I'm talking about now, is opening your own business or starting some type of business, then there's no cap, right? That's probably pretty much the sky is the limit. So that's kind of what I'm turning to. I want to do more social media. I want to do more videos. I want to be more present online. I want to encourage people like me or like Violeta to come and invest in real estate. That it's also a strategy you should look into, if not just totally dive into if you're ready. I also want to switch my career into my personal. I want to open up my own practice, which will be my own business under its own entity. So follow along. This is not real estate related, but follow along for any updates on that because it is definitely something new for me. And entrepreneurship is not in my blood. It's not in my blood, and it's not in. I never thought it was going to be in my future. So I'm scared, but I'm going to do it scared, and I'm going to see if I can figure it out. And worst case scenario, if I don't figure it out, I just go back to my W-2, any W-2. Anyways, yeah, and this is the same way of thinking that I have with real estate too. I'm gonna prepare myself. I don't want to be stupid about this. I do want to save 1 year of emergency fund just in case I want to give my business enough time and enough effort and enough focus on it to see if we can, uh, you know, bring it up from the ground and then be able to function, as it is. Or if I, let's say, fail and I don't meet I don't meet my goals in 1 year, then I'll go back to working as a W-2 employee. And then same thing with real estate. When I started investing, I said it was scary, especially if I was investing out of real estate. I'm not looking at the house myself. I'm not going and touching the things. I'm not seeing how much work it needs to be done. Even though my buy box was to be rental ready, it's still scary because they're deploying thousands of dollars of a deposit, right? And in my particular case, the money that I used for my first rental was about 35,000 that I had saved for school because I was trying to run away from nursing. So I was like, one of the ways that I tried to run away from nursing is one, going back to school, get another degree, and work as a different position in nursing, or do I open up a business or do real estate? So I decided instead of paying for school, which is what I had in savings, I said I'm going to put this money into real estate. And I went with the same mentality, like, you know what, I study about this or research about this. There's people that have done that in the past. Let me see if this actually really works, if I can make it work for me, for my goals, for my cash flow goals. And if it works, great. If it doesn't work, I sell the house and I recuperate my initial investment, or I lose a few $1,000s. Losing a few $1,000s out of $35,000 is not going to bankrupt me. I know what income I make. I know how much I save. I know if I, like, for example, wanted to make more money, I had to work more hours. But again, not a thing that I want to do because at the time I was hating nursing and I wanted to run away from my W-2. So, but it was also not going to bankrupt me. And I think that's the position where you have to come from. I don't believe I'm a risky person, and I don't like high risk, high reward. I like low risk, low reward. I'm not a very risky person, so I'm not gonna throw everything that I have in one investment. That's never been the kind of person that I am. Might be my immigrant mentality. I am Peruvian. I am first gen immigrant. I immigrated here in 2008. So I definitely have lived through times of my parents not working and not having any type of income and eating out of soup shelters and all of these things. So I definitely do not want to encourage anybody to take huge risk. Then you're going to take some risk. Every investment comes for some type of risk, and then it's up to you to decide what is your risk tolerance. And my risk tolerance is different from somebody else's, but I don't want to live on the ledge. I don't even like roller coasters, so I never wanted to live on the ledge of anything. So I would, when I went into real estate, I treated it just the same. If I fail, I'm not going to fall down so much, so I'm not going to be able to get back up. And also, I also think that you have to build that confidence of yourself. I think financial education is so personalized, and everybody's, it's a little bit different. Some people may say like rice and beans, like, what is his name, Dave Ramsey. Yes, rice and beans, whatever, all day, every day. And I don't believe that. I believe that you can have a job. Like, I believe that you should be able to look for more income, and you should be able to sacrifice for more income, But I also think that not everything in life is saving. I used to think that the more there's so many things you can save on, but in reality, that's so limited too. When you live frugally, when you save, you like cook every day. You don't go out. You don't do fast food, or you don't go on places. You don't go to trips, or you don't do those things. Yes, you can do that so much. So there's going to be a bare minimum that you're going to have to keep. For example, you're going to have to purchase, you're gonna have to have somewhere to live. So you're gonna pay a rent and a mortgage somewhere. That's a given. You're gonna have to pay for water, power, or whatever where you're renting, trash services, whatever it is. There's some minimal things, and then you're not gonna be able to negotiate your trash service. Maybe you won't use trash as often, but there's a minimum that you can go to. So if you want to decide to cancel all of your memberships and all of that and like stop going to Costco, yes, I was going to mention Costco in this video at least one time. You stop going to Costco because it's not saving you money. Okay, you cut that out of your life. But there's only like they can't only strip so much. Like you still have to pay for insurance. If you have a job, you're gonna have to have a car, and then you have to pay for gas and pay for insurance. There's only so much you can negotiate down until you strip it to the bare minimum. But then think about like increasing your income. That's my whole thing. Like, yes, you can save so much so you feel like you're restricting yourself all the time, or you can also get another job. You can also work a side hustle. You can also get an additional certification that's going to bring you more income. You can also negotiate for your higher salary. So I come from the way of thinking that like, okay, don't like indulge in every single thing out there, but also look at your income. Like you can increase your income by doing very small things, such as using your credit card and maximizing rewards. Like at this point now, I don't take a trip that is not paid by my rewards. If it's not paid by my rewards, I don't take a trip. And that's not something that I have to save for or plan for. But I do take advantage of like cheap flights and maximizing points and staying at hotels because of the credit cards that I have and the rewards that they come with. Okay. So that's a way, in my view, of maximizing your income because it's not about saving. Like you use the credit card diligently, you pay the credit card in time so you don't accrue any interest, and then you get a reward afterwards. Depending on what your credit card you have, you can have like even free stays at some hotels depending on where you're going, or if you sign up for any of those True Point, I forgot the website that I use, but any True Points where you can, they have those flash deals that you like only 150,000 points will get you back and forth from Europe. I have done that, and I didn't have to pay for it, like, but using a credit card, which I'm already using. Another thing is that for every rehab that I put it on the credit card. So most of my contractors accept credit card payments. So those are the points that I'm going to use on for a future trip. So uh, maximize your income, and then like learn how to save money by lowering your expenses, but concentrate more on maximizing your income. And you can tell me, you know what, the market is horrible right now for jobs. Nobody wants to hire, nobody wants to do this, nobody wants to do that. But I definitely, I moved here when I was 16. I have had a job since I was 16 here, and I never had difficulty finding a job because I am willing to commute. I am willing to travel. I think I took a job in Montana. I took a job in North California, and I live in Los Angeles, right? I, for example, my home was my primary home. I rented out the rooms. So did I need to rent out the rooms? No, but it would minimize my expenses, and it will allow me some income to offset the mortgage. So I was like, okay, no brainer. Things like that. You are giving up some comfort and maybe some time, but just to use the money to further buy your time back later on by investing either on your business, either on the S&P 500, either on real estate. Buy your time back, I guess. I don't know if this, I don't even know if there was a topic for this video, but it came out to be buy your time back. Uh, Anyways, it's been 25 minutes. I still have like a long commute, but we'll catch you on the next video. I'm trying to do more of these, so you see me around.